Good afternoon, everyone, and I thank you for the opportunity and for the kind introduction. I am Dr. Nishu. I'm currently working as assistant professor at AIIMS Bathinda, and I'm a gynecologist. And I'm here on the behalf of my head of the department, Dr. Laja Devi Goyal, and we'll be talking about ovarian cysts. Ovarian cysts nowadays, because of the increased accessibility to ultrasound modalities, we are often finding the reports of ultrasound showing ovarian cyst, which is increasing actually the apprehension of patients. So discussing it on the physicians forum, I would like to just simplify the things and say that majority of the ovarian masses which are incidentally diagnosed on ultrasound, they basically are benign, and majority of them, they do not need any treatment. But exclusion of cancer, because this is the cancer belt of the country, so exclusion of malignancy remains the principal aim, and management plan of such cysts, even if malignant, it depends upon the age, the symptoms the patient has, and the risk of malignancy associated. So the management in a younger age group is different than in older age group. To highlight, first of all, to classify the ovarian masses, ovary has various types of cells. So the masses, they arise from either of these cells. So most commonly are the epithelial cells, which is found on the epithelium. These are the surface epithelial cells, then the stromal cells, and then the germ cells. So epithelial cells, depending upon the histology, they can be serous of serous type, mucinous type, endometrioid type, or transitional cell type, and stromal cells, which also includes the sex cord cells and the germ cells. So in germ cell, we can see they can be dysgerminomas, yolk sac tumors, embryonal carcinomas, choriocarcinomas, or teratomas. And in sex cord stromal tumors, they can be the ovarian neoplasms, they can be granulosa cell tumor, thecomas, fibromas, Sertoli cell tumors, and likewise. So the ovarian cysts which are diagnosed on ultrasound, 80% of them, as already told, are benign. And the malignancies which are most common in the elder age group, they arise from the epithelial cells, so they are epithelial malignancies. And in younger age group, they arise from the germ cells, so germ cell malignancies. And a woman in life has a 5 to 10% risk of developing a cancer and undergoing surgery because of ovarian cancer. However, the most common gynecological cancer in the country is CA cervix. But ovarian cancer carries a significant burden because it is diagnosed at an advanced stage, because it remains asymptomatic till stage 3 in most of the patients. The differential diagnosis of an adnexal lesion, they can be many. They can be gynecological and non-gynecological. So gynecological, they can be benign as well as malignant, and benign, most common, they are just the simple functional cyst, that is the ovulation from the follicle, and then the follicle is turning into a cyst. So they can be functional cysts, endometriomas, any abscess, teomases, because TB is endemic in our country. Reproductive age group, ectopic pregnancy, then dermoid cysts or the serous cyst adenomas, mucinous cyst adenomas, hydrosalpinx, and some Mullerian anomalies. Malignant tumors we've already discussed, they can arise from either of the cell lineage. And non-gynecological masses, they can be benign. Like in the adnexal location, there is appendix, so it can be an appendicular mass or a diverticular abscess. Then tumors arising from the nerve sheath, that is schwannomas. Uretral diverticulum. It could be an anatomical variation, that is a kidney from abdomen is now in the pelvis, so a pelvic kidney. Any paratubal cysts or bladder diverticulum. And malignant non-gynecological conditions can be any GI malignancy, retroperitoneal masses, and any metastatic lesion from elsewhere. Now, whenever we encounter a mass, we go ahead with an ultrasound. TVS, because of the close approximation of the TVS probe with the target organ or transrectal probe with the target organ, it gives a very good picture. So TVS remains the first modality of choice. And on TVS, if it is a non-ovarian mass, we do the treatment accordingly. But if it is an ovarian mass, so ovarian mass, if it is solid and the size is more than 10 centimeter, so it is suspicious of malignancy. So we go ahead with tumor markers and we see the markers and perform the surgery accordingly. But if it is not solid and the size is also less than 10 centimeter, unilocular simple fluid filled cyst, anechoic cyst seen on the ultrasound, and if the size is also less than 10 centimeter, In a post-menarchal age group, that is a reproductive age group after menarche, we can wait for 2 to 3 months. We can give oral contraceptives to the patient. That will lead to ovulation suppression, and whatever the functional cyst, which is the most common cause, is there, it will go away with it on itself. But if the size is decreased, we have to do a follow-up. But if there is increase in the size of the same cyst, or there is persistence of the same cyst, then again we'll go with tumor markers, do a risk assessment, and perform the surgery accordingly. And in a premenarchal age group, it is said in premenarchal, most of the ovarian masses, they are benign. So if the size is less than 10 centimeter, actually the size should be less than 2 centimeter. If it is 2 centimeter in a premenarchal girl, we can still wait. But if it is more than 2 centimeter, we have to go ahead with surgery. Also, in premenarchal age group, whenever means the menarche has not attained, that means there is no functioning ovary, no follicles are forming, but she still has a mass in the ovary. Then we need to do a karyotype of the patient, because if she is XY, she is carrying a Y chromosome, there is a risk of gonadoblastoma, that gonad turning into gonadoblastoma, later into malignancy. So we need to remove both the ovaries of the patient. Now, diagnostic workup of such masses, a thorough history and meticulous examination cannot replace anything in the medical history, and after which comes the imaging and investigations. So a thorough history. If she has pain, because malignant masses generally they do not present with pain. If she has pain and it is acute in onset, that means either the mass has ruptured or has undergone torsion, or if the pain is cyclical, that means every menstrual cycle she is having pain, which are associated with various conditions, like pain during menstruation can be because of endometriosis, pain during menstruation can be because of the cyclical dysmenorrhea she has. That means there is some blockage in the outflow tract and the blood is accumulating in the body and she is getting pain every time. Or there is abdominal distension, ek mass uske saath distension, that means there is something going on inside, so it could be a malignancy. If she has associated GI symptoms like a mass and vomiting or nausea or anorexia, that means either it is GI origin or the ovarian mass which has metastasized to omentum, and now that omental cake is pressing upon the stomach, causing gastroparesis and leading to vomiting. Other can be fever chills if it is an abscess. Menstrual abnormalities, of course, if the tumor is functional, like it is producing estrogen or it is producing androgen, then it will lead to menstrual abnormalities. Then any palpable mass, if she has already felt a mass inside, we'll need to ask. And very rarely urine retention. We came across a case last week at AIIMS Bathinda where a 20 weeks pregnant woman, she came with a 20 centimeter mass and we admitted her. We were planning to operate on her because it was a huge mass, 20 centimeter. And when we got an MRI done, it was a distended bladder. So 4-liter urine drained and she was all well, and she did not have any symptoms prior to the presentation also. So drug history. Drug history in ovarian masses is important because whenever a woman takes oral contraceptive pills, it is protective for ovarian cancer. So taking a Mala N for 5 years leads to 50% reduction in the ovarian cancer. So any drug history is important. Then comes the examination. So we see the mass, we try to see the size, the feel of the mass, whether it is cystic or solid, whether it is mobile or fixed with other structures, it is nodular, or if it is bilateral, or there is associated ascites or associated metastasis palpable through examination. Then comes the imaging. So the most common imaging is the ultrasound, and it outperforms all the other imaging modalities for an ovarian malignancy. And then comes the CT, MRI or PET. CT is basically to know the metastasis from ovary to the abdominal metastasis, and for MRI can delineate the gynecological as well as non-gynecological region, so we can know the primary. And also in uterine anomalies, MRI is very good, but PET is not an initial imaging for ovarian masses. Then pregnancy needs to be ruled out because it can be an ectopic pregnancy, which is now palpable as an ovarian mass. Blood investigations, routine, and thyroid profile. A very rare von Grimbeck syndrome where a Juvenile uncontrolled hypothyroidism leads to formation of multiple cysts in the ovaries. So the patient will present as a she will have retarded growth, delayed milestone, everything is delayed, stunted growth and short height, everything small, and then she has big ovarian masses. You correct the hypothyroidism and she will be alright. Then tumor markers AFP, beta HCG, LDH, CA125, HE4 and CEA, and then karyotype, which we've already discussed. So this is the ultrasound criteria. There are B features and M features on ultrasound. So these are the B features. B means benign. So if such type of picture, any of the B feature is present and no M feature, that is no malignant feature is present, so the mass is likely benign. So first we see it is an unilocular cyst filled with black means it is anechoic filled with fluid. So this is unilocular, and even if it is multilocular, the size is less than 10 centimeter, likely benign. Then there should be preferably no solid component. Even if it is there, it should be less than 7 millimeter, and there is presence of acoustic shadowing. By acoustic shadowing, I mean that this is an echo-free area behind the mass, which denotes that it is likely benign, because most of the sound waves going from the ultrasound, they are either getting reflected back or they are getting absorbed because of some hard structure present inside the mass. For example, in a dermoid cyst, because of the calcification, because of the tooth present, because of the cartilage, the sound waves are getting reflected back and we see an acoustic shadowing. So if acoustic shadowing is seen on ultrasound, that means it is likely benign. However, it does not rule out malignancy, because malignant features also, they have some calcifications and it can be malignancy. And then if there is no blood flow in the cyst, that means no neovascularization and no less chances of being malignant. Opposite are the M rules. Similarly, if there is even if there is one M present and no B present, so it is likely malignant. So first is irregular tumor, solid tumor, or a multilocular big tumor more than 10 centimeter, or there is presence of ascites, or if there are papillary structures in the ovarian mass, or if there is a strong blood flow. So we can classify on ultrasound. Then tumor markers, CA125, it is loved by everyone. Koi bhi mass ho, get a CA125. If it is raised, so people say, oh, malignancy hai. But CA125 will rise in any of the peritoneal irritation. So even if a woman is menstruating, you get a CA125 will be raised. So the patients, they come with a simple cyst and raise CA125 fearing it is a malignancy. So this is what the talk is based on. So there are cutoff, but also CA125 is not a specific marker, not at all good for a premenopausal women. In postmenopausal, however, it is still significant, and the other markers are CEA, AFP, beta HCG and LDH. Then management, simply if the patient is asymptomatic, again simple cyst less than 10 centimeter, reproductive age group and no symptoms, we can still wait for 2 to 3 months, because the chance of underlying malignancy is less than 1%. But if it is symptomatic or there is suspicion of malignancy, surgical management is very well required. Now, my talk is for the cysts which do not need any management. First is the functional cyst. Functional cyst means ova is released from the follicle and that follicle has now become a cyst. It is simple, anechoic, sonolucent cyst, asymptomatic, no treatment, because it is in the response to FSH, which is a normal hormone in the body. Then the corpus luteal cyst, because after ovulation there is secretion inside the cyst and this will form the corpus luteal cyst. It is thick cyst, it has internal echoes, but still it will go away in the next cycle and hence no treatment is required. Then theca lutein cyst, because of increased HCG production in the body, which is because if it is a multiple pregnancy, if we have a molar pregnancy, we are dealing with GTN, high levels of HCG are there in the body, so multiple cyst formation, they are bilateral and they also generally do not need treatment, but these are very big cysts, so chance of bleeding, that is hemorrhage, rupture and torsion. Parovarian cyst, these are formed due to developmental some developmental remnants of the Mullerian duct. So these are parovarian, ovary ke side mein. Parovarian cysts, they also do not need treatment unless they are very huge. Then tubo-ovarian abscesses. Any abscess in the body has to be managed. So if it is a multiloculated, fluid density filled, thick walled cyst which shows a typical cogwheel sign or string on beads appearance, this needs management, and they are treated medically because they are mostly because of TB or infections. So treat the TB and infection and they will go away, and if not, they are not responding to medical treatment, surgical treatment may be required. And if there is a hydrosalpinx, that means tube is dilated. So we see a linear serpentine like structure on the ultrasound, that is a dilated tube. Generally no treatment required, but if it is TB, then it has to be treated. Then if it is a symptomatic cyst, for in this patient the cyst has undergone torsion. So we can see this ovarian ligament, this is the ovarian ligament which has got 2 or 3 turns on itself. So if such situation happens, सबसे पहले venous supply will go, then the arterial supply will also go, and then will be landing up with a necrotic ovary. So as soon as the diagnosis of torsion is suspected, emergency laparoscopy is required, and detorsion is sometimes only required. But if there is a long pedicle and you feel that it will again twist on itself, then we might hang the ovary somewhere in the, so surgical management is required for torsion. Then if it is a rupture, these are cases operated at AIIMS Bathinda. This is an interesting case, patient presented. I'll just show few more slides about this case. So if any rupture is suspected, emergency laparoscopy if patient is stable, or laparotomy is done. And when there is suspicion of malignancy, then of course some surgery, like if it is early, then staging surgery, and if it is advanced, then interval debulking surgery. So combination of chemotherapy and surgery for such masses. So this is these are the benign tumors which needs to be these are the tumors which need to be removed. So first is the teratoma, that is dermoid cyst. Dermoid cyst contains all the cells from all the 3 germ layers. So we will find hair, cartilage, teeth inside the dermoid cyst, sebaceous material, and they do not respond to any treatment. We need to take them out. And if it is an epithelial tumor like serous or mucinous cyst adenoma, we also need to operate them. So how the investigations mislead us. This is, I'll just quickly discuss about 2 cases. This is a young girl, 21-year-old. She presented in the OPD with pain abdomen, but no menstrual complaint. She had a palpable mass in the lower abdomen. There was a lot of free fluid in the abdomen, and on ultrasound, bilateral masses, one 10 by 10 and another 6 cross 6. So big masses were there, and CA125 was very high, more than 4,000. So when CA125 is so high, we suspect बहुत सारी peritoneal metastasis leading to increased peritoneal irritation and increased CA125. UPT was negative, that is pregnancy test was negative, and clinically it looked like an advanced malignancy. But on opening, we in suspicion of this such high CA125, it was repeated and again it was high. On exploratory laparotomy, there was a lot of blood inside, blood sucked out, then both the cysts, they were ruptured. So the cystectomy was done, ovaries could be saved and the uterus also, and the patient could be saved. Another case, when all the more younger girl, 16-year-old girl presented with a tender mass up to 20 weeks. Again, menstrual cycle was regular. On ultrasound, again big masses, 15 cross 15 centimeter and 10 cross 10 with minimal fluid. CA125 was marginally raised, rest of the markers were normal. So we see big masses, and then on CT scan, if I can show, on CT scan there were also 2 low density masses, 2 masses are seen with thick wall. So we suspected 2 ovarian masses, and again we did an exploratory laparotomy on her, and it was a rudimentary horn of uterus. So she had a Mullerian anomaly. एक horn जो बना ही नहीं था, it was very large, filled with a lot of blood, and उसी side का tube twist होके दूसरी side जाके it was looking like another mass. So we excised the rudimentary horn as well as that side tube. Patient saved, uterus saved, opposite ovary and tube saved. So. So the take home message is that, again I'm saying that not to panic, not to increase the apprehension of patient, because most of the cysts are benign. However, detailed history taking, meticulous examination, accurate diagnosis is very important. Ultrasound is the first investigation, CT and MRI only if we are suspecting malignancy and mass is of non-gynecological origin. And surgeries, nowadays fertility sparing surgery even for a malignant case in appropriately selected cases can be done. And in a younger age group, we preferably go for conservational surgeries, and for older age group, we perform radical surgeries. Thank you so much.